Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're looking at something you carry with you every single day, whether you actively think about it or not. We're talking about everyday habits for a healthier gut. Now, look, if you're anything like me, you probably grew up thinking of the gut as, just a simple digestive pipe. Food goes in, it gets broken down, job done, right? Well, actually, scratch that. The latest research paints a picture that is far richer, far more complex, and honestly, just completely fascinating. Let's dive right in with a number that honestly stopped me in my tracks: 70%. Literally, around 70% of your body's entire immune system is actually associated with the gut and its surrounding tissues. So it's not just a pipe, it is literally a central command center for your body's defenses. Which leads us to section 1: Meet your gut microbiome. So, what exactly is it? Well, think of the gut microbiome as this bustling, microscopic rainforest living throughout your gastrointestinal tract, especially in the large intestine. It's this vast community of microorganisms, just a huge mix of bacteria and other microbes. And the absolutely crucial thing to understand here is that they aren't just passengers along for the ride. They are an active, working crew. They're in there breaking down food components that our human digestive system simply cannot handle on its own. We can actually view this microbiome as a highly dynamic interface. Think about it: diet, immunity, metabolism, the nervous system, and digestive health. We usually treat these as five totally separate departments in human health, right? But the gut touches every single one of them. It sits right in the center, basically acting as a translator between what you eat and how your entire body functions. Actually, let's pull on that nervous system thread for a sec, because this is wild. It's called the gut-brain axis. These microbes actually produce compounds, things like short-chain fatty acids and certain neurotransmitter-related substances that communicate back and forth with your nervous system. That means the activity in your gut might actually be influencing your mood and your cognitive processes. It's exactly why gut health and mental health are so frequently linked in modern science. All right, moving on to section 2, the 30 plants right it. So the crucial point researchers make is that there is no universally defined, perfect microbiome. They aren't in a lab somewhere chasing one magic bacterium. Instead, they're looking for microbial diversity. And to get diversity in the gut, well, you need diversity on the plate. That brings us to the single most useful, actionable goal we can pull from all this research, aiming for around 30 different plant foods each week. Now, I know 30 sounds absolutely massive until you break it down. Keep in mind, this isn't 30 servings a day. It's variety across your whole week. And the definition of a plant food is incredibly broad. We're talking fruits like berries and bananas, veggies, legumes, whole grains like oats, nuts, and seeds. But here is the absolute best part: herbs and spices. A sprinkle of basil or cinnamon actually counts toward your weekly 30. That completely changes the math, doesn't it? It makes this a highly achievable target. But why does this variety matter so much? Well, because fiber is the engine's fuel, and different gut microbes crave different types of fiber. When you feed them a varied diet, they ferment that fiber and produce those beneficial short-chain fatty acids we talked about, specifically ones like acetate and butyrate. Think of these as the ultimate superfuel for the cells lining your large intestine. They interact directly with those cells to keep everything running smoothly and contribute to normal, healthy gut function. Let's jump to section 3: prebiotics, probiotics, and supplements. People mix these terms up constantly, but it's actually pretty simple. Think of it this way: prebiotics are substances in foods like onions, garlic, leeks, and oats. You are basically feeding the good bacteria that are already inside you. Probiotics, on the other hand, are live microorganisms that you're actively introducing into your gut, often through fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkraut, stuff humans have literally been eating for thousands of years. But here's a really critical caveat. A huge misconception is that every fermented jar on the supermarket shelf is just packed with live cultures. It's simply not true. Processing, heating, and long storage can completely wipe those bacteria out before you even pop the lid. So, regularly including fermented foods is fantastic for greater gut microbiome diversity. Just don't assume every jar delivers the goods. Always check your labels for live active cultures. Which naturally brings us to supplements. Should everyone just be taking a probiotic pill? Well, researchers point out that supplements definitely may have a role, but they should complement a diverse diet, not replace whole foods. A pill isn't a shortcut. Different products contain vastly different strains, and the effects vary wildly depending on the individual. At the end of the day, your absolute foundation will always be the high fiber foods, whole grains, and fruits you actually put on your plate. Okay, section 4, habits beyond the plate. These non-food habits are absolutely vital for holistic gut maintenance. First, base your meals on minimally processed whole foods and hydrate regularly. That's crucial, especially as you increase your fiber intake, just to help keep things moving comfortably. My personal favorite? Eat slowly. Chewing thoroughly literally forces you to slow down and encourages an awareness of fullness right from the start. And finally, the factors that often get completely ignored in gut conversations: movement, sleep, and stress. Believe it or not, current research shows chronic stress can physically alter your microbiome structure and function. It's all deeply connected. Let's bring it all together in section 5, a simple daily routine. Let's put all this theory into a highly doable one-day blueprint you can use right away. Morning, simply start with some water and a breakfast containing some fiber and protein. Daytime, consciously choose a variety of different plant foods and keep drinking fluids regularly. For your main meals, just try to build them around veggies, whole grains, and a suitable protein source. And in the evening, give yourself time for a relaxing meal, try to skip the heavily processed late-night snacks, and prioritize your sleep. It really doesn't have to be unnecessarily complicated to build a solid foundation. Quick aside here, and this is a very important note before we finish. While these habits are great foundations for general well-being, if you're experiencing persistent or unexplained changes in weight, ongoing digestive symptoms, or specific discomfort, please don't just try to manage it with a new routine. That is absolutely a conversation you need to have with a healthcare professional. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I have a challenge for you. Which one habit outside the plate are you going to pick today? Maybe it's having water with every meal, getting 20 minutes of walking in, or just keeping the phone out of the bedroom tonight. Remember, you have literally trillions of microbes relying on you, and there's no single perfect gut. The goal isn't perfection, it's variety. So, as you look at your meals this week, ask yourself, how many of your microscopic friends are you feeding today?